Another top story we are tracking for you is that 95 Libyan nationals have arrived at the White River police station in Mpumalanga. They were arrested on Friday during a raid conducted by police and Home Affairs officials. Now, they were at a camp originally designated for security training. The men are now facing charges in terms of the contravention of the Immigration Act. In fact, let's now bring in immigration law expert Ashraf Essop just to weigh in on this particular matter. Thank you so much for your time. So we understand, of course, that the NPA had up to this point been studying these documents ahead of this court case. Just talk to us about what are we likely then, to see in terms of the court process in light of the group, of course, being accused of contravening the Immigration Act?
So the way I understand the facts, the NPA or the prosecuting authorities have been handed the docket at the court, at the magistrate's court, and all of the accused have been brought, but because of the size of the court, they will be processed in batches. Now, there's no real clarity on what exactly the charge is. We've been told that there is an immigration misrepresentation. But the way these things work, it's very, very difficult to actually make sense of this. We're told that they applied for study visas. And this institution is registered to provide certain kinds of skills. It's registered at SABC and apparently with SIRA as well. So it was a well-known institution. And in terms of the Immigration Act, a student may conduct work for up to 20 hours in the field of study. Now, the real question is, where exactly are the application forms that were filled in to assist us with an understanding of what the visa they applied for and what did it contain and who applied for these visas. Yeah. If the court is going to be using an Arabic interpreter for the purposes of this case, then the question is who assisted them with the visa application? See, there's a lot of unanswered questions in this matter. And I suppose these things will only unfold, yes. Yeah,
once those proceedings begin. And I agree with you in terms of just so many missing pieces. I mean, what we also know is that the raid and the subsequent arrest of the group, was as a result of complaints about suspicious training taking place at this particular training ground in Mpumalanga. I mean, this, of course, as you also have alluded to, is raising concerns about, national security as well as, safety of the country. I mean, when you consider the number of role players, and I think you've mentioned some, including, of course, the military training service, the MDSS, and then there's the private security industry regulator. How much of their role will also be subjected in the legal process, as it were?
Well, I think it's very important to get SIRA involved. You'll recall that in 2018, there was a constitutional court decision that said that non-citizens may participate in the security industry. Up to that stage, there was a case that said because of South Africa's security being in danger, that they will only allow South African citizens to participate as security officers. So I think the way that this has been presented in the media, and again, there's still very little information. Were they bona fide security guards or were they soldiers and mercenaries in training? Again, no one knows. But the depth of this investigation, as far as the minister goes, has to start with who authorized the visas. How were these visas authorized? Now, if they were authorized in Tunisia, as we know, then it is in keeping with the Immigration Act that says you must apply at our embassy, but there's no embassy present in Libya, so you got to go to the nearest embassy. But it will be very interesting to actually have a look at what visas they have and on what are the grounds of the allegations of misrepresentations. Did they say they're coming for security training?
Yeah.
Well, this is a security institute. So where's the misrepresentation? Did they actually come for mercenary training? Then, the employer of the institute or the owner of the institute also has to be participating in these proceedings.
Yeah. Mr. Essop, of course, as you say, this will all come out in that court case, hopefully. So we will be keeping a close watch on this. But thank you so much for your time and just weighing in on the story. Of course, that's the international law expert, Ashraf Essop. All right.